We walked 15,000 steps across London and couldn't find a single AC unit available to buy. It's hot in the UK right now, record-breaking hot.
At the top floor, and I can't even breathe. It's ridiculous.
But according to one consultancy group, it's estimated that less than 10% of UK homes have air conditioning. And they're also sold out across major retailers. So we went hunting to see if we could find an elusive unit. We visited 7 different stores across the capital and spoke to workers. The message was clear. Any AC units they do get in sell out incredibly fast, and even fans are now nearly impossible to come by. One person told us to just give up on our search. We also looked online, but came up empty-handed. Londoners told us they're debating getting AC in their homes, but the price and lack of availability is putting them off.
I think after this bout of heat, people are like, it's time to invest, but it's so expensive.
So we've got a 9-month-old baby. So it forced us to buy an aircon unit, and all the ones I've been looking at had gone up by like 70%, which annoyed me so much that I went and found a refurbished one on eBay. But that was a bit of a mistake because now it's leaking.
So we know the pricing is definitely 20, 30, 40% higher due to demand. So we're going to hold off for a while.
So how are Brits staying cool in the heat?
I had 3 cold shower just to like stay.
Always get a bowl of water with some ice and put your feet in it. It's the best way, honestly, and you feel like you feel cooler. So that's what I've been doing and all my friends have been doing.
Like we have quite a complex system of shutting blinds on either side of the house so that the sun's not in that side of the house.
So without AC, Brits will be finding other ways to stay cool, whether that's water fights, ice creams, or staying hydrated.
So on today's episode of If You Needed Another Reason to Show Up in the Midterms, we got to take a trip to the UK. Yeah, the good old UK. And if you guys remember, in a couple of the videos that I posted on, World Cup fans coming here to America and absolutely loving it, in a couple of those clips, you had a lot of individuals talking about AC. Like, wow, Americans have AC everywhere. It's in businesses and all of this other stuff. And now you know why. Because apparently in some of these other countries, AC is a luxury. And in places like the UK, they will fine you. Yeah, they will fine you for using AC too much. Not even kidding. Even in your car. Because, climate change. You can't warm up the planet. We gotta cool the planet. So no AC for you. You just get to sit in your hot old house and melt. Yeah. Check it out.
What the UK are doing right now is absolutely insane. I didn't think it was real, but I've looked it up. This is real. Drivers trying to stay cool during the heat wave are being warned they could face £110 fines for running their air conditioning in their vehicles while stationary, which apparently violates pollution laws. Let me just read you some of this report. Motorists attempting to cool down during the heat wave in stationary vehicles with the air conditioning running face fines under emission laws, with the RAC, which is kind of like AAA, like breakdown service, warning that engine idling causes pollution. Standard penalties for this are £40 if issued by a police officer, or £80 from a civil enforcement officer. Both halved, luckily it's halved, if you pay for it early. Some authorities, especially around London area, are actually fining up to £110. This generally sounds like some kind of sick joke. It's actually pretty hot in the UK right now, but this is absolutely ridiculous. The thing is, the Brits have paid for their vehicles. They're paying road tax on their vehicles. They can do what they want with their vehicles, whether the wheels are rolling or not. If you want to use your air conditioning inside your car, use it. And I know I'm going to get people in the comments saying, but they're not enforcing that. The fact is that they probably are. If it's in the law and it's made headline newspapers, I'm going to overlay on this clip. It's the fact that the UK have actually made laws for this. Right, what's your thoughts on this? Would you accept being told you cannot run air conditioning in your own car if your wheels aren't rolling, just at the station?
We all know the answer to that, right? There's no way that could possibly happen here unless you allow these far leftist Democrats, which is what the Democrat Party currently is now, take over, because that's who basically control the UK. the Democrat Party, far leftists. So, yeah, that's why I said another reason to show up in the midterm. So if you want to keep your AC and keep people like this out of office, better show up.
Every other country in the world with summers as hot as ours runs aircon and has thoroughly aircon.
No. You made such a generalization here. The poorest countries in the world, even India, the superpower, and most African countries have no access to domestic
I think what's
aircon.
interesting here is
so
the
you're
average...
saying every country in the world? That's such an outrageous generalization. The West, yes, because in the West we want never to be uncomfortable. I don't want to be uncomfortable. Right?
But it's
we
more than
have to think of
uncomfortable,
the,
Yasmin.
We
People
have
are
to think of
dying.
the planet, and it won't kill us not to have
No, but it
aircon.
literally
kill
is killing
some
some people.
Well, care homes, for example, where the most vulnerable are, okay, have facilities.
Nurseries, schools.
Nurseries and schools, you know, if you want to put... I don't have any objection.
Hospitals?
Yeah. I think institutions are something else. We're talking about domestic use here.
Okay, but there's
This
also
is where
Vulnerable
I'm-
people live in domestic facilities.
I know, but we don't all have to have aircon. I
Yasmin,
think
would you
they're
feel the same
passive.
if it was about heating in the winter? Would you feel the same about that?
What do you mean?
So what we're saying is to save energy, we potentially restrict the use of aircons
Well, look,
domestically. Should we
all the
restrict
new,
use of
all the
heating
new
systems?
forms of heating, and certainly the use of the new technologies,
pumps.
I totally approve of them.
And actually, heat pumps are a way
I can't do anything other than back whatever we're being told really works, because we've done nothing.
As far as I'm aware as well, heat pumps, which is the new source that the government wants us to install and everything, that can actually cool your home as well as heat it up. So there is actually an argument to say, Lara, that there are other ways and other methods we can use. Aircon might actually be a fairly old-fashioned way of cooling our homes, so maybe we need to look to some of the more modern methods.
I mean, aircon units have developed quite a lot over the last few decades. They've become far more efficient. They use convection energy. They're completely electric, so there's no need to burn fossil fuels to run them. And I think that is being missed from this debate. I'm sure there's lots of ways of cooling a home. I'm sure a heat pump could work for some people. There are lots of situations in which heat pumps don't work, which I'm sure you've covered on the show lots of times. Flats, for example, very ineffective. Anywhere with copper wiring, there are problems with heat pumps. But I think we are vilifying air conditioning without any recourse to any science that says that people cooling their homes for a couple of weeks a year in order to stay healthy and comfortable and be able to sleep and not get unwell is bad for the planet. I don't think it's going to make the blindest bit of difference. And people...
And I agree with it, honestly, right? The UK, it's like this much of the entire world population. So them not using AC, I don't think changes really anything. Plus, over here in the U.S., we're going to definitely use our AC. You understand me? I don't care what they doing in the U.K. Y'all can kick rocks. Tell me to turn off the AC. Okay. Come turn it off. You know? So, yeah, man. Crazy, crazy stuff. This is absolutely wild, you know? Obviously, living in America, you just kind of think that everybody has AC, you know, this is just normal, but goes to show once again how amazing America truly is, right?
When it comes to greeny stuff, apparently you're not meant to have an air conditioner unless it's the last resort. You're certainly not meant to use it unless it's the last resort. And there are literally inspectors going around in England telling people that they have to take their air cons off of their homes because they're illegal and that they should have ceiling fans instead. I know, they're in a heat wave and they can't have air cons. This is from the Telegraph. Cop a load of this. They report that in one string of cases that was uncovered by the Telegraph, a resident living in North London was forced to permanently remove 2 aircon units from the back of their home. Planning inspectors working for Camden Council said there was, quote, no justification for the aircon units and that they failed to comply with the local authority's so-called cooling hierarchy. Now, this cooling hierarchy, by the way, is that you have to use every other possible thing before you get the aircon. So in an appeal, the resident was told to open the windows and balcony doors of their first floor flat to ventilate the property, quote, by natural means. They then said they were concerned about the security, but that was dismissed. And the inspectors said the risk was not as great as those associated with ground floor windows, and that the windows could be shut at night. And the planning document said that the main issue, quote unquote, of concern for inspectors was whether, quote, the need for active cooling is justified with particular regard to local policies on energy. And the Telegraph also has that another resident was ordered to remove 3 aircon units from their property, despite complying with all planning requirements. Camden Council planning inspectors made particular note of the, quote, absence of ceiling fans in their home, even though it was not listed as a requirement. So under these greeny planning rules in the UK, they're now saying that you've got to have either your windows open or ceiling fans before you can even consider putting an air conditioner on your home. And if you do have one, you better only turn it on when it's really darn hot and you've done everything else first. Is this real life? They're going around telling people either before or during a heat wave, take your air conditioners off your property. What?
Yeah. That's also the craziest part about this entire situation. They're experiencing a heat wave. It's over 100 degrees, and they're like, nope, can't use your AC. And don't think you're just about to get in your car and just sit in AC. Those tires better be rolling, or else. Bro, these folks, man, just going around to people's homes and inspecting them, making sure that they, like, come on, man. That is just ridiculous. Talk about being a dictator, right? Trump's a dictator. Trump's a dictator. But the leftists in the UK are literally going house to house, making sure people aren't blasting their AC. Jeez Louise. Crazy, crazy stuff. I also came across this, which is quite interesting as well. Check this out.
Just a reminder, more Europeans die every year from heat-related illness than Americans do from gun violence. That's a real fact. You can look it up. So don't let any of these Europeans tell you that they can't install AC in their buildings, right? They've installed plumbing before. They've installed electricity. They can install air conditioning, but their ignorance doesn't let them. And so they have more people that die from heat than gun violence. Make it make sense.
Yeah. Heat stroke is a real thing. It's a real thing. And it's got to be horrible trying to sleep in that. You know, I like to be cold when I go to sleep with the fan on. Okay. But if the room is 100 degrees and you got a fan on, it ain't really doing a whole lot for you. You're just blowing hot air. Oh, man. We cannot let these far leftist Democrats take over. We got to show up in the midterms, and then we got to show up in 2028 as well. We cannot let these folks win. I'm keeping the AC, all right? Are you? Y'all let me know in the comment section below. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.